Just tell me when to shoot.
Making sure that Atreus wasn't a pain in your ass was a big part of this game.
Atreus needed to have some sort of ability or something he brought to the table that was different from Kratos. His ability to understand the language, right? In our world, the writing of the runes and the speaking of the runes are like the ignition for magic. Atreus' ability to understand this stuff allows him to have magical abilities that Kratos can't have.
The giants used to gather here to trade with the gods a long time ago.
The simplicity of the controls was imperative.
Should I fire?
Wait for my mark.
We did not want to be giving commands or have complex orders or anything like that. He is able to autonomously divide the battlefield just a little bit, so he's able to take attention, if you will, aggro in some games it's called, away from enemies. So if you have a large pack of enemies, firing the arrows will get their attention.
We had him design like a suite of moves for him that he could do that could help melee with the bow and trip enemies and keep them at bay. He's a little guy, so he can jump on an enemy and grab them from time to time. We didn't want people micromanaging the sun. Again, we didn't want people to think of him as any kind of hindrance, anything that they really had to worry about. You can use him to your heart's content, whatever you would like to do, but if you don't do anything, he'll still do a lot of things.
There are certain circumstances that there are enemies that say, I'm going to target him. But if he gets into trouble, he's able to get himself out of trouble most of the time.
When you're in a fight with Atreus, it's like you definitely feel his presence. He feels like he's there with you every step of the way. We wanted to make sure that he always felt like somebody that was helping Kratos and benefiting you, and you never want to be without him.
Pre-order and get 3 shield skins for in-game.
Executing a no-cut camera. I thought it was impossible when I read the script. I thought it was impossible when I looked at our equipment. I thought it was impossible when I looked at the reality of our production pipelines. But it's possible. It's just incredibly challenging. Hi, I'm Dwayne Arazi, Director of Photography on God of War, and this is how we built a cinematic experience on God of War in a single shot. Every cinematic style delivers a story in its own way. It imparts a kind of subconscious flavor to how you experience the overall storyline. When you read a script, the way things are mostly delivered is what's called the A-B shot. So you shoot this guy, you shoot that guy, you shoot this guy, you shoot that guy. And when you see a really complex narrative dialogue delivered without cuts, that doesn't look like the camera's swinging back and forth and actually everything's just flowing organic, it's incredibly gratifying.
It does not attack.
When you combine a sense of documentary with a camera that doesn't cut, you get a very empathetic point of view to the character. It's such an immersive way to experience the hero's journey. I don't think the player would have experienced anything like this before.
What are we hunting?
You are hunting deer.
So I was running around with a camera and we had to shoot it in one take perfectly. The actors had to deliver their performance perfectly, their dialogue perfectly, move perfectly, hit their marks perfectly. I had to hit my marks perfectly, no errors. That was on one side. Then on the other side was, okay, now we have a single shot camera for our cinematics. How do we get that to blend seamlessly in and out of the actual gameplay? It was a Herculean effort in communication. You had a bunch of technical teams, visual teams, and cinematic teams having to work perfectly together to know exactly who's doing what and when to make sure the player will do exactly the right thing. The scene from our 2016 E3 demo where Kratos walks up to his son right after he shot the deer, it was a very somber moment, juxtaposed with a lot of combat, so we wanted to carry into that shot very smoothly to land that emotion. We worked with the level designers and with our camera designers and with the cinematic team. The experience was seamless. You walked into this open environment and suddenly Kratos walks into this beautiful, evocative cinematic. And I think that's when I started feeling that we can do this, we can nail this. It was visually climbing Mount Everest, and seeing it succeed was incredibly rewarding.
This way.
Cut.
Pre-order and get 3 shield skins for in-game.
PlayStation.